Right. Hi, guys. I should say rather, hi, Jane. Today we're going to go over basically looking at how you find your ideal client. Now, obviously, guys, what you'll find is that Jane here is a bookkeeper. Okay, so the assumption is anyone who's got a business is a potential business a client for Jane. That is right. But if you were doing marketing and advertising, businesses are different and different business owners have different issues. Some people don't like doing accounts. That's me, okay? Other people don't do them because they find them hard. So for me, you would target, are you bored? With someone else, the target would be, do you find it difficult? So you can't do one advert to fit
Mm.
everybody. You need to look at the things, pick a niche and do an advert for that niche and do a second advert for the second niche. Okay, so what we need to do is that also with marketing, and then when you get that client, it's how pushy you are. Like I spoke to a young lady who we're training up, and she said she was told that if you get a lead through, you ring, 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 ring. Okay, no. Okay, that becomes because it's pushy and desperate, and it just annoys people. Okay, so we can't do that.
I I leave people alone because they might speak to me once, they may speak to me twice, they may speak to me three times, but eventually they'll get to trust me because nobody's gonna just automatically say, "Oh yes, I'll take you on." So yeah,
It is.
no.
Okay. And like Jane will say, it's what we sell. Whether you sell face to face, whether you're B2B, whether you're selling to people at B2C, it's all the same. Okay. We need to basically niche down and pick an avatar. Other things we do is we go, do you know what? I'm going to target the UK because there's millions of people, so I'll get millions of sales. But here's the things. If you've got a limited budget and you market to the UK, I'm afraid to say it's not going to work because
Mm.
you need your advert to be seen more than once by the same person. And if you try and market to the UK, your advert nearly the second time. No, nobody will remember you the first time or second time or third time. Okay. Even with our adverts we're running
Yeah.
now, we noticed that it's averaging about three people. They're watching the advert about three times. Then they're coming through to us. So they're seeing it once and going, second time they might come through. Third time they come through. Okay.
Mm.
Because that's the idea. So we know that. We know it's working. So what we've done as a company, we're advertising to London. There's still a big area, but then we cut down the demographic. Okay. So let's get on to this. What is your ideal customer? Okay. So if we take bookkeeping, for instance, we're going to use bookkeeping as an example. So Jane would say she wants somebody who is bad at books, doesn't like doing books, hasn't got the time to do their books. Okay, that is three distinct people. One advert won't cover three people. What you'll do is you'll confuse people. Okay, so you would need to do three separate adverts, and you need to run those three adverts at the same time simultaneously to get seen. But also you can look at their lifestyles as well. So when you look at marketing, think of it as different things. Now, I will suggest to people, and I'm going to say this till the cows come home, the best place to advertise for a business owner for B2B or B2C is Facebook. You can use Instagram and Twitter, but some of the guys that do that, they've turned into influencers. So they're spending their whole lives having to influence and grow and stuff. And that's not what we want to be. We don't want to be influencers.
No,
We want to be
I'm not.
business.
I'm not into Twitter and Instagram really. No,
Quick stat for you guys to
LinkedIn and
understand.
Facebook.
It is. Okay, James, a quick stat to understand, okay, is this. Is the average person watched our advert. Our advert is 45 seconds long. The average watch time is 37 seconds, okay, on Facebook. On Instagram, the average watch time was 4.8 seconds.
Oh,
They're not even getting the message before they're swiping off, okay?
yeah.
So all the advertising with an Instagram was a lesson for us because people don't know us. If once people know us as a brand, then we go to Instagram because people will see the brand and they know it. So if people see a Coke advert or McDonald's, they know it. So it
Yeah.
reinforced it. Us, they don't. So that's one thing. And I will definitely say that. Also, the current stats for Facebook are 4.1 billion active daily users. That is half the planet Earth on a daily
Yeah.
basis is using Facebook. And if you can't tell me your clients aren't in that 4 billion, then your clients are on the moon because there's no way they're not there. Okay. So
No.
we're going to do. So we look at our audience. With Jane, let's say we take businesses that are busy. Okay. So what Jane might do is look and go, all right, I'm going to do an advert aimed at businesses that are busy. Okay. And then it's the wording we use. So you look at it and go, right, what do I want to do? Are you busy? Are you out of time? Are you finding that you're lastminute.com and you're always being chased to submit your books, not having your books ready? If that's the case, you need a bookkeeper. Give them the pain, give them the gain. That is an avatar for you as a person, Jane.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what you've got to do. Even if you're just doing general posts, even a post needs to be specific
So
to
it
the person
doesn't have
who's
to be a
facing.
lot. It doesn't have to be a long post then.
No, no. What you
No.
do is, I've done it before.
Five lines.
Yeah, I had a picture of a businessman and he's got piles of paper around him. Okay. And I just did calculation. Time equals money. You have no time, so you have no money. Talk to me about workflow solutions to give you back time that equals money. That makes sense, Jane? So it's a calculation. You know, time equals money. And if you're spending all your time doing books, you're not earning money. So we need we need to look at it that way. Okay. So the
No.
avatar is a business person who is busy and stressed. Okay. Now let's use that as one avatar. You haven't got to do loads, Jane. For now, we just do one. Okay. So let's go for the busy businessman. The reason why I go for
Yeah.
the busy businessman, they're more likely to move across because they can. The bored
Mm.
ones and the other ones still think they can do it. Okay, so
Yeah.
they are hard. It's a harder sell to talk to somebody who has got the time. They may not want to do it, but they go, do you know what? I don't want to spend money on it. I'll do it myself. Okay. Where someone who
No.
hasn't got the time, you can say to them, that's what we do. So don't try and sell to everybody. Okay.
No.
It will fail. Okay. And tools. You can ask people. You can go online. I mean, you can use ChatGPT. What you got to do with ChatGPT, tell it to only use sources that are reputable. Not everywhere. Because people are writing things now that will offset ChatGPT. Okay, so that's what we've got to do. There. So that's
Sources that are reputable.
yeah. So what you're saying is ChatGPT might go out and it might use Twitter as a source. No, you don't want to use Twitter because it's
Oh,
full of misinformation. Okay, so
yeah.
you want it to go to only places it knows where there's a reporter behind it who's actually used at least a bit of knowledge, understanding, not my mate told me this is true, so it
Yeah.
becomes true.
Dave down the pub.
Exactly. Well, Dave in a pub said it's true, so it's true. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's understanding your avatar. Okay, the next thing is the psychology of selling. So you've got the avatar. Okay, how do you sell to them? Okay, now we don't want to come across as being pushy or desperate. So as
No.
we said, it's emotion, pain, relief. What's the emotion? For every business, time is money. If I'm spending
Yeah.
time worrying about my books and my accounts, what I'm not doing is I'm working in my business, not on my business. And the goal of the
Yeah.
business person is to work on your business and grow it. So if you're worrying about your books or you're doing your books yourself or you haven't got a clue what you're doing, okay, you are losing money because you are doing it yourself. Okay. And what people forget is this is there's no such thing as free. We make that very clear. If you do your books yourself, they are not free because you pay
No.
yourself a salary. Okay. And if your
Yeah.
salary is £30 an hour and you spend 10 hours a week doing your books, then your books are costing you £300 a week. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you wasn't doing your books, you'd be actually earning money in your business. Okay. So what you got to do is
Yeah.
offset is how much time you spend doing your books is X. And let's say X is
Yeah.
£800. Now the bookkeeper is Y, £300. You do the maths. If you're spending eight doing it, it's going to cost you three. If you pay a
Yeah.
bookkeeper to do it for you, you're actually going to
Yeah.
make an extra 500 a month. As you get bigger,
Yeah.
it'll be bigger and bigger. But people don't do it. People go,
Never thought of it that way. If
no,
someone said, "Oh, I've been doing it myself,"
exactly,
well,
Jane, because people go,
what's made you now pass it on to somebody else? Yeah.
correct, okay, so people think you do it yourself, it's free. There's no such thing as free because as a business owner, you're the most
Yeah.
expensive thing to that business. And if you're doing your books and stuff, you know what you're not doing? Bringing work in. That's what earns you money, not doing your books. Okay, so time is
It's
money.
like
You're a
me
businessman.
when I do my own books. I have
Exactly,
to do
Jane.
it at
So Jane,
night or weekend.
you've got to
It's
find
not
someone cheaper than
free.
you to do it for you, basically.
No,
So,
I keep on top of mine. I mine are basically done every few days. Mine are up to date and all the rest of it. As soon as I get an invoice, I just send that straight off to a system that just takes all the information off it and it sticks it somewhere so that when I'm ready to go and see, I've got all my accounts.
you have,
Like if I
Jane,
have anything,
but let's say, for instance, take your website, for instance. If
yeah,
you can build a free website, you can build a free website, but it's not free because you've got to do it. Okay,
yeah,
so what you do is you struggle with the website and you end up spending weeks, months on it because you do. Okay, but the thing is, if you're doing that, what you're not doing is earning money. Okay, so even for a bookkeeper, there's things you don't do yourself. Okay,
no.
so every business does this, and they go,
Marketing, I don't understand it.
"Yep,
Website building, I don't understand it.
you don't." Okay, and that's why we do these sorts of things because they do. Well, sometimes it's an economy of scales, and you think you're saving money by doing yourself. Let me tell you what I mean by economy of scales. Is if you let me loose and said to buy a kettle, I would end up buying 5 kettles. My wife would buy one good kettle that ended up costing half the price of the 5 kettles and lasted the same time. Okay, you get what you pay for. Okay,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
the way it is. And
yeah,
so with businesses, what we've got to look at is this: is they will come across and say things like, "I can't afford it," and you say, "Why can't you afford it?" "I've got the money," and you go, "Do you know you've got no money because you're doing your books and not running your business." It's an answer.
yeah,
Okay, they go, "What?" You go, "If you was actually running your business properly, spending the hours to grow your business instead of
yeah,
spending hours doing your books, you'll make more money growing your business than you doing your books." Okay, so they'll always say things like, "I can't afford it." Okay, but they
yeah.
can afford it. They've got to look at it
Yes, I
properly
can.
and
Yeah,
and just basically grow it. Okay,
because
so
they might have been doing 20 hours a week, and I only need to do like 10 hours. Obviously, I don't do hour. Well, I do hourly on cleanup, but I prefer then to go on to a fixed fee once I know how clean the accounts are. But once they're all up to date, I then go, I can see what they're doing month by month, and I can obviously offer them a fixed fee. So they know exactly what they're going to get. Yes, okay, once a year, I do put my prices up. Never used to, but we all need to do it.
but let's say they're
Everybody needs to do
spending
it.
20 hours a month working on their accounts. That's 20 hours a month. They should be working on their business, not their accounts. Their
Yeah,
accounts is not going to grow their business. Okay. Doing
no,
their
of course
website
not.
is not a business. Okay. Doing
No,
their own marketing is not their own business because, again,
no,
all the lessons in the world, I can give you all the lessons in the world. The problem is that there's still
yeah,
stuff that people just don't want to do it. They find it boring. So they don't
yeah.
do it properly. Okay. And that brings us on to the next thing,
Oh,
which is,
I know marketing needs to be done because at the end of the day, I had a business, but I didn't know how to run a business. But I find it boring, but I know it needs to be done.
yeah, I mean,
We should do.
I only do it because I'm the sort of person where I spend times working out how to grow my business and then passing on knowledge. But I like to know how to do it myself so that when I do pass it out to somebody, I can see whether or not they're doing it right because it can be a very expensive mistake if you don't get it
Yes,
right. Now, as part of
yes,
that, when you've got the past the psychology of why they won't do it or they get them to do it, okay, then it's diving deep. Always, always start off with asking them, what do you do? And what do you find the most painful in your business? They'll tell you what the problems are, and then you have to change your answer to bend to their business. if you're watching me at a seminar with Ask Hannah, I do talk a lot about Hannah, but what I do first of all is I always ask them what they do first. And then once I get what they do first, I will bend our business to suit their problem. Without knowing what they do, I can't bend our systems to suit their business.
Yeah.
And when they do, I'll ask them what they do, and they say, "What do you do?" And I'll say, "The best way to describe it is I'll explain how our business can help you." And then I'm giving them an answer, but it's not a pushy answer. I'm just telling them what we do, and from that we can move forward. Okay, it's there. Okay, now once you've got leads, there's leads that will go into what I call a dead pile. They're never dead. They're dormant because in a year's time, their business might grow and they might change their minds.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you've got to do is do follow-ups.
One of my clients, she's known me since I was a few days old, and it took her 9 months to call me.
Exactly.
So, and
Okay.
she knew me, but she just, she kept asking the accountant lady, and she said, "You know damn well you need Jane." And eventually she phoned me, and I sorted her out. Showed her where she'd been losing out on VAT, showed her where she'd been paying too much tax,
You see,
cleaned all the computer system up.
Jane, what you've got to start doing, okay, is a newsletter at least once every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay. And what the newsletter is about, okay, it's about giving them tips on bookkeeping, the best bookkeeping. Remember, there's people out there aren't using you. And you say, look, I know you don't use a bookkeeper, but I will still give you tips on how to do your books. Okay. Because the more tips you give them, the harder it sounds to do, the more likely they come back to you. Okay. So
yeah,
I would go to ChatGPT and go, give me 10 topics I can talk to clients who I have not got yet. Just general topics, okay? And one might be, are you claiming back your VAT? Like that, have you got things,
yeah,
are you, another one is, you can say, did you know as even though you're self-employed, you can claim certain things back, like one third electricity and this and that. Okay. And you list it out and
yeah,
you go, and the things. So what you're doing is you want to do stuff that engages them and they read. Okay. And by doing that, what you're doing is there's no such thing as a dead lead. If they don't want to read them, they'll do it. Now, we've started doing that. And out of the 80 people that are on our current list we just started, only one of them has unsubscribed. That means the
oh,
other 79 are more than happy to receive our weekly emails or
yeah,
bi-monthly emails to them, give them
yeah.
info.
What what system do you get their data put on?
Okay, I use, one second, Jane. I use a system called, one moment. It's called, let's have a look down here. I think it's Sender. So it's sender.net, sender.net.
And
Okay.
.net.
And that is
Okay,
free to use for up to about, I think it's about 2,500 subscribers.
that's all right then. Yeah,
All right. But what that does is, Jane, it tells you who's read the email, what they clicked on, what they did, and you can see who's active and stuff. And what you do is you just keep
okay,
firing out emails all the time. And if they read
yeah,
and they do, they don't. But
yeah,
we've managed to get a read rate now at about 65%. And what we
yeah.
do is we send the first email, and that will generally get about a 50% read rate. But the people that didn't read it, 2 days later, we send it again only to the people that didn't read it. And somehow half of those read it the second
We
time.
did. Yeah.
Okay. So by that little trick, you're able to double up and send it out twice to people
Yeah.
um to do that.
And do you get the data from like Facebook by putting, something on Facebook?
No, because this is just an email. All the data is on the email system. So on sender.net, it will give you who opened it, what time they opened it, what they clicked on, what page they went to. It gives you all
Yeah,
this
but see,
information.
so would I only start with the clients I've got at the
No,
moment?
no, no, no. You would all of them. Anyone you've ever had. You get
Oh, yeah.
well. What you
See,
do?
this, yeah, but see,
Well, no.
this
What you can
this is
do if
where,
there's clients you think aren't good, take them out.
oh yeah, that's what I mean.
No,
Because
no, no, no,
like
no. No,
when
no. What I say
people,
is, I mean, if there's clients you know, trust me, no, don't send the
you
clients
know,
who. So only send the clients you think would want it,
Yeah,
okay,
because
and send it out to
when
them.
we went to Peterborough,
Yep.
and Andy, I think I'd come twice, 2 months or 3 months, and obviously Andy was on about a database, and of course I'm looking around, and people like Steve had got a database, and you'd got a
Oh no, no, no.
database.
Listen. If you've got 5 emails, that's a database.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, a database is just a list of your clients, Jane. That's all it is.
Okay.
So I know the problem is when you get these business things, like to use words. Okay, a database means you've got a client's name, phone number, generally email, bits and pieces.
Mm.
That is your database. I know.
Okay.
One of the things about
Yeah.
businesses is that when you go to these business shows, they assume that everyone knows what you're talking about, when really they should assume no one does because most people are still learning. So if you've got 25 emails, that is your database, and you send the newsletter out to. They say, remember they send. Remember the word news that they'll say to you, send your newsletter out to your database. What they should say is send the newsletter out to your current clients, old clients, and clients you never had. That's what they should say, but they don't. So you have got a database.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because obviously, this is where they say, "Oh, look through your Facebook page," and I
No,
said,
no, 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 no,
I'm not
no,
gonna
no,
start
no, no,
sending
no.
my
It
friends."
only needs to be people you have contacted and spoke to.
Yeah.
You can't be don't it can't be random people. No. See
And then
again, that's what I
obviously,
mean.
Pete, they've said, "Oh, past." Um,
So what they meant was, let's say
I've
someone
got clients that have retired, so they're not coming back.
no,
I've got clients that has emigrated. He's not coming back.
no,
I've got clients that have left me, and obviously they've gone to an accountant who's done the whole package. And I've got rid of people that I no
right,
longer
okay,
want,
right.
and I
So
never want to
but
see
here's the
them
thing.
again.
People that have left you and have gone to an accountant, you can still email them because you never know. They might not be happy. You don't know. They might not be happy, but they just go along with it. They see your email. Oh, Jane, yeah, she was much better than them. And you get them back. Remember, there's no such thing as love.
Yeah.
Remember, they left you for the promised land because the grass is greener. But unfortunately, the grass is not greener. And their
No.
prices might have gone up, much higher.
Yeah,
Okay?
I never thought of that. I never
Yeah,
thought of that
there's
because
no such thing.
I never fell out with one of them.
Exactly. Okay. So what you do
He
is,
just said to me, "I've really been really happy with your services, but I've been offered a deal where they do my account for 2 days a week, and obviously for an X amount of pounds. Where
okay, yeah.
obviously
Now
I
you know, most probably that offer was too good to be true.
yeah, because in the second year, I bet they hiked the prices up.
Right. So that's the right that's the thing. Okay. Now he would have
Yeah.
forgot about you over time because he's too busy. What he needs is a
Mm.
nudge. And that nudge, he might go, oh, bloody hell, do you know what? I should have left Jane. She was much better than this. And you get him back again. Remember this?
Yeah.
They got him some. He must have went to them. He must have contacted them for some work and they put him on a mailing list. And he got a mail there and it said, special offer, done for you package. And he went, do you know what? I'll do that. Okay. But
Mm.
he was your client. So there's no harm in mailing him. Okay.
No,
And the
no.
first mail you do is you go,
Yeah.
hi, remember it's Jane, your friendly horse riding bookkeeper. These emails are going to be to help you understand accounts. I'm going to be giving newsletters that tell you about bookkeeping, about how you're doing your sales, what I think the best programs are to use. Is this okay? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's nice. Okay. And then the watch, all of a sudden, you'll be surprised what happens.
Yeah, because I also have learned about a lot more software, which I can mention, and their accountant probably has no clue about it at all.
I mean, look at the guys in the groups. Okay. They were happy with the accountant and bookkeeper until they realized they weren't happy. They didn't know they weren't happy until you pointed out
Mm.
what wasn't
Yeah,
being done. Okay. And
yeah.
that's the thing. If you do a newsletter, you say, oh, did you know, have you got your tax rebate yet? And they go, hold on a minute. I'm VAT registered. Why am I getting a tax rebate? And all of a sudden they go into the, and he goes, oh, well, they go, well, bugger you. I'm going to talk to Jane about it because obviously you don't know what you're doing.
No,
Okay.
that's
I
right.
mean, you could do one on R&D tax credits, for instance. That's a classic one. Most
Yeah,
businesses can claim back the R&D tax credits if you do R&D. I think it runs about 25 to 30% you can get as a tax relief on your income tax. So
yeah,
if you spend £100,000 on technology,
yeah.
you can claim back £30,000 that goes against your tax. It means the company pays less tax. It means you're making more profit. Now,
Yeah.
most companies wouldn't know that and never did that. Like someone comes to me and says to me, "Oh, do you know what? It's a bit expensive." I say to them, "You do know you can claim 30% back as an R&D tax." They go, "What?" Well, if you build an app for £10,000, the government will give you a tax break of 30%. Because I think sometimes you can get to 40%, so you get it back. Your business
Yeah.
gets, so it's not 10 grand, it's 6 grand. All of a sudden, oh
Yeah.
wow, that's affordable. But if they don't know that,
No.
forward. So there's all these things you can write about in your newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And what I write about might not be of any interest to them, but as you say, if they're not happy with things going, they can always say, "Well, actually, Jane was much better than that."
That's
And of
and
course,
that's
now, Rob, I work differently. I work remotely. I don't have to work in the office. So obviously, yeah,
that's
yeah, no,
exactly.
yeah,
Okay. So basically, what you're doing is you offer that. You might also offer them little spreadsheets and little booklets they can read on the information, and you can get Chat GPT to make them for you. Okay, simple little
yeah,
booklet on an idiot's guide to bookkeeping. Literally, that's what you call it. Okay, and you post
yeah,
it like Crystal is a flip book. Okay, but
yeah.
it's a simple free guide that you've written that they can go on, click, and they flick through it. And go, oh God, this is brilliant. Okay, and for some reason, have I gone blurry?
Yes, you have. I can't see you.
Why have I gone?
I don't know. You didn't touch the screen,
I
did
went
you?
like that. I did a Harry Potter with my hand, and somehow my swipe has. Let me try and turn off my video. On again.
Mhm.
Off and on. Okay, well, I'm going to have to work out why it's done that, but I'm not going to stop the video. So I'm going to do this,
No, no,
Jane.
just I can hear you.
I'm
So
going to put that on. Okay, so that's so okay. So cool. So guys, right. Next of all, we're going to look at done leads. Let's look at again, yeah. So it's handed objections. Why people won't do things. Generally, it's I can't afford it, which we know is not right. Okay, it's economy of scales. Okay, or I think I'm okay. Well, if you only think you're okay, you're not okay. So we need to look at how we do that. So when you're looking at objections, listen to the person speak to you, and if they really say if they can't afford, if they say they can't afford it, and they literally have to say they've got no money, then some businesses we can go to them. Like for instance, if we're selling someone an advert, for instance, Jane, they've got no money, they can't afford the advert. There's nothing we can do about that. But
no,
that's today, not tomorrow. But for
no,
you, they've got to do their books at some point, okay?
yeah,
And they can do it themselves or not. Jane, can you hear me okay?
yeah. I can hear you. I just obviously you were just very it's all
Yeah,
blurred.
no, I'm just my microphone's going all funny. Okay, cool. Right. So basically it's objections, okay, and what they are. And we just basically have to listen to them. Sometimes they really can't afford it and they haven't got the money in the account at all, and they're gonna struggle along. But at that point you say, would you like me to send you through some information, a guide on bookkeeping? And that's Jane, where you have a little booklet, 5 pages, 10 pages long, a little flip book that gives them idiot's guide to bookkeeping. What do each month? Save your receipts, do this, do that, do this. Make sure the things. I mean, take me for instance, Jane. Um, you're supposed to submit your company accounts for last year by when? No, January.
Yeah,
I've done mine already. So I've
yeah. I've
already,
done mine as well, and I've
yeah.
done my husband's.
Okay, so yeah, so what I won't be doing,
But I know a lot of people that wait until January.
yeah, yes, okay,
Yeah,
that's the thing. All right, so I tell people also do it early, get it done, get it out of the way.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. And these are the things we do because people forget, and all of a sudden it comes to January and you're
If
too
you're
late.
limited, it's 9 months from your month's end, your year end. It's sole traders that have to be done by January 31st. So yeah,
Okay. And I say to people is I remember looking last year and they said there was millions of people who got fined for being late. Not a few, millions.
yeah,
It's stunning.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
how many people were late?
I can remember, Rob. I think I'd been. It was in probably the first year, 18 months I was in business. I was with a client. Oh, you were back
I'm back
slightly.
now.
I I was with a client. Yeah, but you're not. You're still hazy.
Oh no, the hazy is that's my camera. My camera's rubbish on this computer.
All right.
So the hazy bit is
Um,
that, yeah.
the guy phoned me up and he said, "Oh, is that Jane?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I need my year-end accounts done." He said, "I need an accountant." I said, "That's not me." He said, "Not you?" I said, "No." I said, "What does my advert say?" He said, "Oh, you're a bookkeeper." I went, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what does a bookkeeper do?" I said, "Bookkeeper does all the donkey work for the accountant." Ah, I said, "How long have you been in business?" And he said, "Oh, this is my first year." And I said, "What is your accounts on?" And he said, "Pardon?" I said, "Well, are they on Zero, QuickBooks, Sage, spreadsheets?" Because obviously a lot of people were doing them on spreadsheets. They weren't on anything. So he just started his business and that was it. So I said, "I'm very, very sorry." I said, "I can't do tax returns." I said, I didn't want back in 2007, I didn't want to do tax returns. And I still don't want to do tax returns. I've got to do mine, I've got to do me at what husband, and that's it. So, but yeah. And it is funny because a lot of people, when we first met, you kept referring to me as an accountant, but
Yes,
now you go, "She's a bookkeeper."
I
And
do.
people go, "Well, what's the difference?" Well, it's actually 7 years because an accountant will train for another 7 years. An accountant doesn't normally do the donkey work. Well, they don't do
You see, Jane, I
bookkeeping.
think what you should do is do a simple book, what says why you need a bookkeeper. And it will
Yeah,
say, you do need an accountant, but the accountant does your end of years. And then do a simple book, guidance.
yeah,
Okay. And that's what
yeah,
you do. Now, final of this thing is this is selling is about,
yeah.
I know it's odd for me to say this. Selling's about listening, not talking. Which, if you know me, you know is a bit of an oxymoron, I'm afraid to say. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but do not do what I do. Okay, I am by far not normal when it comes to it. But on that, okay. Now, there's one
And
more
I do
thing.
listen because I
Yeah,
say, what has made you phone me? How can I help? And then I
correct.
obviously listen. Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we go, avatars. How do you find more people like your current clients? There is a way to do it right now, Jane, and I bet you haven't done it. Are you ready for this? And it's free to do.
Okay.
And
Where?
we never do it. Okay, right. We all ask for a testimonial.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Client. I hope you enjoyed my working for you. I was wondering, could you write me a lovely testimonial? And they say yes. What we should have done is going second email and going, hi, Mr. Client. It's Jane, your bookkeeper here. I've been doing your books for ages. I know it's this. I know this might be a bit of an inconvenience, but smiley face. I was wondering, do you think there are two or three more businesses you know who could use my services? And you
I'm
get
trying to
them.
get a testimonial of Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah will do one. She'll watch it and do it, okay?
Well, I did ask
I
her.
know, Jane, I know, okay, but
I need to
if
send her the link.
you ask for a referral, they feel more obliged to help you because they know you're looking for work and to get out there, okay, and grow.
Yeah.
So and what's this? Okay, watch this. Here's my theory in life.
I'd like a testimonial and then yes, a referral. Like
Even
Michelle, like
ask
Michelle.
ask
Michelle
for
said
yeah,
she's got a bookkeeper.
ask for both. Okay, ask for
Ask for
both.
both.
Okay, and
Okay.
here's the reason
Yeah.
why. Okay, watch this. Okay, what's happening right now is you're not getting them. Okay. So the worst
No.
thing can happen by asking is you don't get them. So by not doing it, nothing happens. But
No.
what could happen is you might get a referral or two or three or four.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and if they say, oh, John, mate, yeah, we're using this book here, which is brilliant. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna give you a call. No worries, mate. That's a client easily got. And we never do it.
No.
We never say to people, have you got someone to do it?
Mm.
Especially especially for you, Jane, because you know that every business owner needs it. Mine's harder because I do software, so it's less likely they know someone who wants software made. But they all know
Yeah. Yeah.
businesses, and trust me that
Every business needs a bookkeeper.
yeah, okay, and
Doesn't
trust me, and
doesn't
that business.
matter if you're a one-man band plasterer or you know,
Well,
a
that
one-man
Jane,
band with 5 employees.
and he would have been to business meetings where business people are bitching about their accounts and their books, and he'll go, do you know what? Hold on, you spoke to Jane? No, I haven't. Oh, well, you have a chat with Jane. She's really good. Okay, because remember, it's not about them. They won't do it straight away. But when they're
Yeah.
out somewhere one day, Jane, and they keep seeing the themes go through, that's how you
Yeah.
do it.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. So that one. Now there is some optional homework. And the homework is to write out the different avatars you need to talk to for your business. And you need these on a bit of paper, James. And you go, right, I'm going to start with the one that's new. So you've got the new person, for instance. Okay. You've got the person that's just so busy they can't do them. Okay. You've got the person who can't afford to do them. Okay. And so you work about and then look at the wording for each one. So every time you do a post, you rotate. So one post you do for the busy person, one post for the bored person, one post for the person that can't afford it, and you rotate those posts because you don't know which of those avatars is going to see that advert sometimes. So you got to say you
Okay.
rotate them to hope that they see different ones.
Yeah.
Also, you can post this stuff onto your Google Local as well. I think you can do like a little newsletter on Google Local.
I've got a blog on me, Google Local.
Yeah, on there. Put it on there. Okay, same
Okay.
thing. And again, that's again about being local people.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I've managed to do it at a record time where I've managed to go through the whole lesson properly in under an hour, Jane. How's that?
That's good then. That's in your 90 minutes.
Yeah. Well, normally we go for about 2.5 hours, don't we?
Yeah.
Like I lose control. Okay. But Banfi goes to me, Robert, you need to be more structured. I goes, so I've got the structure, Jane. The structure is
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll go from that. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go and finish off watering my garden because now it's cooled down enough. Um,
Yeah. I got to go and water the plants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I grow vegetables, Jane, so they need a lot of water now because it's just been
No,
so hot
I've
and
got
stuff.
them plants.
And this morning,
I don't enjoy doing it. I'm not a plant person.
next door's got a cherry tree. I didn't realise cherries were ready so early. His cherry
Yeah, I
tree is
suppose they
all the
have.
cherries are
Yeah.
ready. Apples and stuff aren't till autumn, but cherries are ready now.
No.
I didn't know that until I tried them. I thought, God, blimey, they're ready.
Is he letting you have cherries?
Well, I was standing on the fence, cutting them into my bowl. He was watching me, so I assume he's okay with it.
Are they hanging over yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he'd
Oh
be all
no,
right. Yeah.
no, he said to take them. He
Right.
goes,
Yeah, no, I'll have a go at this. So just basically put it on the Facebook
yeah, do it on any
business
if you're
page.
on any social. Remember, if you do it on Facebook Messenger on the Facebook page I showed you, it will post to both. It will post to both Facebook and Instagram. And because I know it sounds odd, I know Instagram's not brilliant, but because you can do one post to both platforms, do that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not on Instagram. I don't
Okay,
think I am anyway. I don't really go on it. So
no
Facebook,
worries.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jane, I will
Lovely.
say to you, have a good night. Okay.
And
I will
you.
say congratulations for doing it in under an hour, Rob. And same time next week, okay?
Yeah,
All right, then,
lovely. All
Jane.
right then. Thanks,
Nice
Rob.
one.
Take care.
Cheers, then. Bye.
Bye. Bye.